What's up guys, my name is ESO and I just wanted to put this little pre-video at the start of this video. I'm going to be discussing whether paid mods are good or bad for the community and the pros and cons of them. If you're a fan of either Skyrim or Fallout 4, I suggest that you stay and watch and either share this video or go back to Bethesda and give them your feedback, because this is so important with this kind of stuff. You as the consumer have the power in suggesting and figuring out how this is going to work. For example, if they release this system and nobody uses it and everyone gets angry about it, then it won't happen. But I'm going to explain in this video why you should consider it, and also some of the negative impacts it could have and how this system could be done right. So it's quite important, and I'd appreciate it if you do develop your own opinion, leave it in the comment section and maybe give feedback on what you want to see to Bethesda, because I'm sure they'll listen to you, because this is quite a sensitive one. A few hours ago at E3, Bethesda announced something called the Creation Club. This is effectively a paid mods replacement, or at least that's how I see it. And I'll show you why I think that in a moment, but you'll basically be able to buy premium mods for Fallout 4 and Skyrim. And this is going to be coming out this summer, so it's quite close. And that's for Xbox One and PS4 as well as PC, guys. And I'm going to say right from the get-go, I think it's really important that we support modders for their content. They're the real heroes of our community. They help keep our games alive. But this needs to be done in the right way. So firstly, what is the Creation Club? This footage showing right now behind me was snuck into Bethesda's E3 conference, and honestly, I think they did a pretty bad job of explaining what exactly the system was and how it worked. I think they were being very careful not to mention the phrase paid mods. And to be honest, I'm not surprised about that given the history. So what they're basically saying is the Creation Club will add new weapons, armor, gameplay features for crafting and stuff like that. I don't think they'll add any mods that require the script extender. Or if they do, that would be fantastic. And I would definitely suggest people pay for that. But anyway, they already have a similar system on Bethesda.net. But it looks like these mods in the Creation Club are going to be made by mod authors in collaboration with Bethesda to achieve a professional polished quality. And they say that this means all paid for content will be fully compatible with your saved games, so you won't get mod conflicts for downloading the paid for mods, as you might if you download some of the free mods that conflict with one another. And we can see that these are going to be paid for mods because they're using a credit system. They say that you'll use credits to download these premium mods, just like you would any other downloadable content like the official Dragonborn DLC. You can see in the bottom right corner there it says press X to purchase more credits. So that pretty much makes me certain, like I'm 100% like this is clear as day. You'll pay money in order to buy credits that you'll then be able to use to buy mods with. And this is a paid for mod system, that's what it is. Though they didn't actually say that in the E3 conference. I don't think they even used the word purchase. But anyway, because they have made their own currency though, I don't actually know how much any of this stuff will cost. For example, they have this backpack mod, which is 500 credits. For all I know, $1 could be 100 credits, or $10 could be for 10,000 credits. Nobody knows yet. And whether this stuff is expensive or not, I know some people just don't like paying for things that they think should be free. But we'll get to that later. I do know that if you do buy these credits, you can use them for both Fallout 4 and Skyrim, and probably any other Bethesda game with mod support, which would be nice to see in the future. We can also see that there are some different categories of the mods at the top, like featured mods, characters, creatures, gameplay, weapons, and world, and also ones that you've already brought. And then we've got one here, the survival mode, which is 500 credits. And it looks like it's just going to be a movable campsite, which you already have at the moment for free. I don't actually know if that's what it is, I'm just I'm guessing at this point. We've also got a dwarven mud crab, which just, to be honest, that really makes me cringe. But every man to himself. But Bethesda also said that the existing mods will remain free. So ones that you've already downloaded, they're still going to be there for free. You can still use them. We're still going to have that free mod section, but also now we're going to have the premium mod section as well. The difference is that premium mods have been taken through Bethesda's development cycle, including localization to the game, polishing and testing, to make sure that the content works together with other paid for content. It reminds me a little bit of the Fallout New Vegas Gunrunners DLC, which just adds like a little area and loads of new weapons and like a modding system into the game. And I think you pay like maybe $10 or something when it first came out for it. So if we're going to get like tons of new content like that for a little bit of a price tag, you know, it's quite nice. But before I go into what this means for the community, let me take a look back at the last time Bethesda did this in 2015. And we're going to use this for a case study of what not to do. On PC we have the Steam Workshop, where users can upload mods to download and play within Skyrim. It's very much like Bethesda.net. Back in 2015 though, Bethesda teamed up with Valve, the creators of Steam, to turn the workshop into a marketplace where users would have to buy mods. Some of them were still, but you could now buy them as well. This marketplace literally only lasted a few days before the community's outrage saw it completely shut down. Firstly though, one of the issues was that people uploaded mods that weren't theirs and they made money from people buying them. You could still report them, but it was just a very negative thing that they were doing. This problem though has since been solved by Bethesda on Bethesda.net. Secondly, there were mods that didn't even work as advertised, and they were literally just scamming people into downloading them. I recall they had like a 24-hour refund policy, but it was still a pretty big cock up. I mean, when you buy something, you expect it to be of a certain quality. So when you have to go through some mods and download them and then refund them again because it didn't work, it's just a bit of a faff. What the worst part was though, and the part that makes me quite angry, or it did back then, is that Bethesda, who said they were doing this to support the modding community because they believe they should actually be paid for their work, like game developers, were actually only giving the modders 25% of the income from this system. What the actual hell? Only 25% from all the income they were making. That was a complete joke! And just so you know, companies like Apple, which also have revenue sharing schemes for things like music or the App Store, will give 70% to their creators. It's the same with Dota 2, which is also on the Steam Workshop. Any paid for mods, the mod creator gets 70%. Rightly so, because they made the bloody content for the game. So modders only got 25%, and then Bethesda went ahead and took 45% of the income for themselves. So Bethesda had the biggest percentage of this deal, leaving Valve with 30% for obviously it being run on their platform. And after the backlash that occurred and the community turned around and said this is ridiculous, the marketplace was scrapped from Steam and never seen or spoken about again. And that's why Bethesda's very careful when they're mentioning paid mods today. Bethesda responded to this though by saying, and I quote, "We also believe our community wants to reward the very best creators, and they deserve to be rewarded. We believe that the best should be paid for and their work treated like the game developers they are." That's probably the most hypocritical statement I've ever read, given that the modders are only getting 25% of the income and you're taking 45%. But hey, Bethesda responded to this saying that the revenue split was debatable and apparently an industry standard. Despite what I said about Dota 2, there are clearly other companies on Steam that had their modders' best interest at heart, so I don't know if I believe that statement there. They pretty much said other people are doing the same thing on Steam, so we'll just do what they're doing, and that's okay. In reality though, what they did was they told the community they did it for the modders, when actually the revenue share looks like they were milking their modding community for cash. But to be fair to Bethesda, they realised their mistake and immediately did a U-turn. But that's in the past now, so I think with this new system moving forward, transparency is going to be key for Bethesda. I think that they'll need to clearly define exactly how much they're giving to the modders for their creative work. And do remember guys that if modders can support themselves from this system, it will increase the quality of their work and even the amount of content they put out. It may even make other modders strive for higher standards to get into the premium mod section. I speak from experience because I know after I got enough income from YouTube to do YouTube full time, I quit being an architect and then upped the quality of my videos and spent more time on them. And that's all being completely fan funded. So it can be a positive thing. I know a lot of people in the comments are just going to be worried about paid mods simply because perhaps you're young or you're used to not paying for things and getting everything in this world for free. Or maybe you don't have the income to download the mods you want. Well, I might even do some reviews on some of these paid for mods when they do release and tell you if they're actually worth it. But until the system is released and we see how much these mods cost and how good they are, we just don't know for sure. So I'm going to withhold my opinion on that for now. But it will be interesting to hear what the modders actually think of this. A lot of them still work for free on the Nexus and they just take donations. So we'll see how it goes, but make sure that you keep an eye out and try and give constructive criticism on Twitter and Bethesda forums about what you do like and what you don't want to see. Because this is going to happen, and if you sit there and whinge about it like a little man-child, Bethesda are just going to completely ignore you and be like, okay, whatever. But if you actually go ahead and construct an argument about it, and then you get some other people to come and support you, then Bethesda, I'm sure, will listen to you. So that's the way I think you should go about it if you have a problem with it. One of the things that you should question though is the revenue split. It should be a minimum, in my opinion, of 50-50, if not 70-30 to the modders. I mean, it's Bethesda's game and the modders wouldn't exist if it wasn't for them creating such an inspiring game in the first place. But if it wasn't for all those content creators, this system wouldn't exist in the first place. I mean, it was kind of a long time coming after paid mods were cancelled, and then we saw Bethesda.net created so console players could have mods, and I could see that this is probably where it was going eventually. But one thing is clear, Bethesda do care a lot about its community, and they're going to listen to you. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's quite a long one, it was kind of a discussion video. I don't know if you guys like videos like this, but I think it was important to talk about this point specifically. If you do care about this topic, I will be reporting on it in the future, so make sure you do subscribe for those videos, and IESO will see you guys, loyal subscribers, in the next video. Have a fantastic day, and goodbye.